Ah, the horror genre. Who doesn't like a good scare to feel that you're still alive?
Oh my gosh! Damn it, Panda!
Well, if you saw my Halloween video, you'll already know that I don't either. Well, not quite. I had a peculiar relationship with that specific genre. When I was younger, I was a totally scaredy cat with anything related to horror in video games. And if we go back further in time, I also didn't tolerate gore. I overcame the second thing when I wanted to play Call of Duty World at War, the most gory and brutal Call of Duty of all time, so I had no choice but to endure it, so I could witness the Reichstag assault again in better quality than in Call of Duty 1, and experience the less explored Pacific theater in those kind of games. But my aversion to horror still lasted 4 or 5 more years. Let me put it this way. I skipped Fallout 3 at that time because on the back of the box I saw this image and I thought it was a horror game. Or for example that I never completed Stalker because when I tried it, I recall encountering an invisible monster with tentacles in its mouth and I immediately said nope. However, all that changed in the year 2013, when I tried Amnesia, The Dark Descent for the first time. Yep, I tried to jump on the PewDiePie's bandwagon back then. Oh, fuck. ¡Ah, mierda! ¡No! I couldn't complete it after getting stuck with one puzzle, but I had already made my first step into the horror dimension and discovered that masochistic feeling that those kind of games give you. So when I was exploring a second-hand store, I found used PlayStation 3 games, and Dead Space was particularly cheap, and I thought, why not? I remember that I didn't find it as scary as I thought, maybe because Isaac Engineer Clarke was a total badass capable of defending himself from the clinging necromorphs with nothing but a stapler. And that was the first horror game that I completed. Since then, I started to play them occasionally. I didn't become a horror lover, I still prefer other genres if I had to choose, even now. But I understood why people love them. Still, despite how scared I am, once I quit the game, the fear disappeared. No matter how horrific the monsters were or how twisted the villain's plans were, that fear remained inside the virtual world of my PC, and my life continued as normal. I didn't even have nightmares. Until I played. And let me tell you, this video has so much to talk about that I decided to split the topic into 3 videos. This one, the spoiler-free review, and 2 more dedicated entirely to the lore in chronological order. So, without further ado, let's begin. Imagine that you wake up from a nightmare, a vivid memory of an accident that left you with severe brain damage. You are going to the city's university because a doctor has a revolutionary idea, a scanner capable of mapping a brain with a detail never seen before. This could help with your case if it works, and he needs a guinea pig for the experiment. Well, if you're gonna die either way, who cares, right? You arrive at the building and notice something's off. There's no one. The curtains are closed, and not even the janitors are present. Things are already getting a little weird, but after finding the friendly doctor, he calms you and proudly shows his creation to you, telling you that this will not last long. You have a little chat with him and finally sit down in the machine. The scanner lowers, covering your sight, and the doctor's voice calms you, telling you that it won't hurt. It will just be a flash, and that's all. But after it, the man's voice disappeared, being replaced by something that sounds like a leak. After calling him several times without getting an answer, you decide to take off the scanner, finding yourself in a very dark and unsettling place, full of technology more advanced than the one that you know. And if the confusion wasn't enough, the place seems to reflect that something terrible has happened. Not only does everything seems to be broken, but a weird black goo expands as some kind of tumor around all the complex. After exploring a little and noticing that for some reason, now you are capable of hearing echoes from past events,
Hey you, can you talk? Can you talk like the others? Why are you like this?
you discover that you are in a submarine installation named PATHOS-II. Notes and drawings scattered throughout the location show you that not only did something happen in this underwater complex, but in the entire world as well. Before you can find out, you hear a human voice. At last, someone to ask what is happening. But then you encounter a weird broken robot, who seems to be convinced that he is a human named Carl Semken.
Are you human?
Shit, did my body give it away? I try hard staying a mystery. Yeah, I'm human. Are you?
He gets stubborn every time you try to point out that he is a machine. After exploring a little more, you find a corpse whose badge reveals the name of that weird broken robot. What the hell is happening in this place? He isn't the only one. Soon you'll find many other robots that believe they are human, under some kind of a strange delirium. That is until you run into a radio and you successfully make contact with the only sane person from this complex.
Oh, what's happening? Hello, is there anyone there?
Hey, can you hear me?
I hear you. Absalom, what's going on?
She names herself Catherine Chun, but because of the bad signal, she asks you to go to the communication center in the dome, a couple of floors upstairs. However, some of those past echoes had made one thing clear: you are not alone. Sooner than later, you'll find yourself being chased by an aberrant cybernetic creature. After evading the monster and entering the communication center, you finally make contact with Lambda Base, the place where Catherine is.
Hey, are you there? I found the dome ceiling.
Oh, that's better. Simon, was it?
Simon Jarrett.
Hi, Simon. I'm Catherine.
After talking with her, the dome breaks and a big water stream floods the place. Believing this is your end, you get surprised when you find out that you were already in a dive suit. But when did you put it on? Before the flood happened, Catherine asked you to find her in Lambda Base. Here starts the dark adventure of Simon Jarrett. I can't say anything else about this game's plot without spoiling you, so if you want to know why our protagonist wakes up in a submarine installation, what happened there and on the surface, why the robots believes they are human, and what that black goo is that expands like a cancer, you'll have to give it a try. It's not very long. It'll last 10 hours at most, but it's worth every single damn second. This is a narrative game that is quite linear. A corridor game, you might say. Its gameplay is basically identical to other titles from Frictional games. If you have played one of the Amnesia or Penumbra games, you'll know what I mean. It's a first-person game when you only have to walk, run, read notes, and curl up in a corner while crying. Vete! Well, that's being very reductionist, because through the journey you'll run into some environmental puzzles that will be a momentary obstacle. They are not particularly hard, but one or two might get you a little frustrated. Or you'll get super stressed because aside from that, you'll have a horrid monster roaming the place looking for you. Fuck. Fuck! Keep in mind that the clues to solve them might be scattered near to your location, in a form of notes in a notebook, a datapad, a recording, or in an echo from the past. In certain important moments of the story, the game will present you with a choice. Your response will not affect the plot, it will affect you. And that's all I can say without spoiling. If you are a person who tends to overthink certain mental scenarios, these decisions will leave you like this. The monsters, unlike other games from Frictional, are more toned down, or at least that's how I felt it. They appear only in specific zones, and once you get out of there, they stop chasing you. Aside from that, it's easier to evade them or be stealthy around them. Because this game is not really interested in making you jump from your chair, it wants to stay with you. And it succeeds with every single note, scene, and situation that it presents to you. Little by little, it gets into your head and makes you question, what will I do in this situation? Is all this really worth it? It is so uninterested in easy jump scares that if you are a total scaredy cat as I was before, you can choose the safe mode. There the monsters will not chase you. They'll only run through the zone so you can dive into what really matters. It's a story. As I mentioned, this game's script, unlike its sister saga, doesn't want you to run through the corridors shouting and doing macho screams while a terrifying monster chases you at full speed. This one wants you to enter into its world, into the tragedy and despair that reigns over PATHOS-II, to get you disturbed by asking again and again what you would have done if you were an inhabitant of the installation, as you were discovering in more detail the horrible chain of events that led the place to end up like that. This is not a piece that will surprise you with a sudden plot twist. In fact, the questions that arise at the beginning of the story get answered quite quickly and without fanfare. But as you get more information, everything starts to get more and more disturbing, provoking you to have internal debates about several existential topics that will be presented through the adventure. If you are sensitive to those kind of topics, they could even keep you up at night. Perhaps the most unsettling thing about SOMA is that inside the fantasy of its sci-fi plot, there are very realistic scenarios that, even if they don't exist right now, the materialization of its concept has been within sight of modern technological advancements. Things like robots, virtual reality, brain chips, and artificial intelligence are already a reality. When I was a kid, those things were sci-fi from a far distant future. So it wouldn't surprise me that the futuristic concept that this game touches on could come to a reality someday. That being said, they are nothing new. They have been in the imaginary of science fiction forever. But if I had to say something, is that I used to support some of those ideas until this game showed me scenarios that I had never contemplated before. Definitely, if you connect with the story of this gem, it will probably stick with you for a long time, tormenting your mind in your most existential moments. The game maintains the tension all the time thanks to its oppressive atmosphere and its spectacular sound design, already a notable trademark from Frictional games. And as I said before, even if jumpscares are not its main characteristic, it's not like they aren't present.
Está la sala Hijo de tu puta madre. Qué gracioso, amigo.
If you are a fan of horror genre, you probably have already played it. But if you are a casual one like me, or you love sci-fi and still haven't played it, what are you waiting for to dive into this depressive and stark story? One thing only, if you suffer from thalassophobia, it's better not to touch it. If you already play it, tell me, which moment disturbed you the most? I can't say mine in this video because it will be a huge spoiler, so I'll keep it for the last one. See you later, my friends. And I also want to thank you for your support. We've already surpassed the 100 subscriber mark. I read several comments in the Kingdom Come Deliverance video asking for a video about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I hadn't thought about it because, well, the sequel has the same mechanics as the first one but more polished. So I would end up saying basically the same thing. But don't worry, I'm already thinking about some special topics about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 to talk about. Meanwhile, I will continue with the Soma trilogy and maybe another video in between. Thank you for your warm welcome, and I bid you farewell, my friends.